right. Welcome to International Soccer Break. Of course, soccer is a global game. The Gold Cup is a international tournament, which is why we brought back our boy Chris Brown over here. Chris, how you doing?
Doing well, especially after the quarterfinal result, fellas.
Chris, I'm wearing green. This is not Mexico green. This is Jamaica green that I'm wearing after the comfortable victory against Guatemala. I would say it's a good blueprint. Concede possession, let Guatemala dominate possession, score on the counter. The Luton Town man himself, Amari Bell, with the goal. Soon to be Premier League player. I thought it was a pretty comfortable performance. What did you think, Chris?
So first, I think you got to get the shade of green a little darker. It was a little faded on that shirt. But yeah, I think the Guatemala team, they came out with a lot of energy, a home crowd. Really, when you looked at what the breakdown was in Cincinnati. So I think Jamaica was really just trying to weather the storm in the first half hour or so. And I think they stepped back in terms of their defensive posture. Blake was able to clean up the few mistakes that they did have. And then, yeah, the attacking talent up front with Bailey, Gray, and Antonio created opportunities for some of the other players when they were getting double and triple teamed. That Maribel happened to be beneficiary in the right spot at the right time.
You know what I thought had a great game? I thought Bobby Reed was excellent. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, Bobby Reed, like I said, he's not going to get quite the same amount of press and headlines as Gray, Bailey, and Antonio, but I mean, he's a workman out there. He can really be flexible in terms of both the attributes he provides in the attack as well as tracking back defensively. So he's a valuable part of the team. And I think maybe because he's been there a little bit longer, this is his third or second Gold Cup now. So maybe more continuity with the rest of the players. And that helps him out having played more CONCACAF games.
Yeah, I also thought he had a really good game. But of course, that one's out of the way. They were supposed to win. It was a tough game, but they got the job done. And now the real question is, can they beat Mexico? Because that's the task at hand. So first things first, uh, talk to me about where you think the problems are going to come from, and then we'll go into how they win.
Yeah, I think that Mexico possesses a lot of attacking talent. Um, Martin at the top, Pineda up front, and just all around, they have a team that just has the continuity and experience that Jamaica doesn't quite have just yet. They've been growing into the tournament, which is what they needed to do, incorporating a lot of new players that haven't played together. But that's probably a worry. And I think fitness and conditioning wise, when you're getting late in the game, Michael Antonio hasn't been able to play the full 90. He's been taking a physical beating from a lot of the defenders up front. How do they hold up late in the games? The problems that they've had with Mexico, particularly in the two World Cup qualifiers, were that they conceded goals late, 80th minute or later. So that's really where I see them potentially having problems, and that's what they have to really clean up in order to be able to stay with this Mexico team for the full 90 minutes and potentially extra time.
I think Antonio, you bring up a good point with Antonio. I actually think he tried to do too much on his own against Guatemala, and I wonder what you think, because I think part of the issue is I think he's trying very hard to constantly beat defenders. I think he can play a little more with Gray and with Bailey, because sometimes I feel like he feels like he's on an island when he's not. He has attacking talent with him.
Yeah, I think especially in that Guatemala game, and I mean throughout the tournament, he's been shadowed double and triple teamed by the defenses. So he has been smart at times, making sure that he's using himself as a decoy and helping set up the other players. But yeah, there were some instances in that Guatemala game where maybe he needed to be a little quicker making the pass and getting it to his teammates. But I think maybe it's just, the fact that he is a striker and maybe feels at this point like, hey, I should have had my breakthrough as far as getting a goal. but at the same time, just got to be consistent and stay the course. There are 9 different Reggae Boys, I think, that have been able to get on the score sheet. So
Wow.
doesn't matter who gets the goals; they just got to find a way to pick them up.
Yeah. So how do they get it done? How do they get it done then? Where do you see the recipe for success then against Mexico?
I do think that Mexico's back line has not been as stalwart defensively as they have been in the past. And it's going to come down again, I think, as it has in the other games, to what Antonio, Gray, and Bailey can do up front in terms of creating moments of brilliance. And when they are getting cut off by the defense, they are swarmed, they're seeing multiple defenders, being able to make that quick, decisive pass to set up the other teammates and get themselves into dangerous opportunities to be able to score.
Yeah, I think that Jamaica needs to be physical in the back as well. Obali Pineda had a very, very good game, but he's not a physical player. And I think if they can body up some of these smaller Mexican attackers, it can send a message early in the game. The other big thing in the back is Jamaica has to be careful with that offsides line. So Henry Martin likes to sort of sit on the edge of that line and does that very well. I think they have to be careful, make sure that there's communication across the back line. But for me, it's physicality. I think that's the advantage they have in the back. These are smaller Mexican attackers. They can get in their head a little bit early. And in the attack, I agree with you, Chris. This team, Jamaica, has the firepower to go at this Mexican defense, which is weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. What I'm gonna put you on the spot as I always do. What's the score of the game?
Ooh, this is a tough one. So I think it's a 1-1, and then it goes to extra time. And I think we got another penalties on the cards for us. I think Andre Blake himself comes big in the penalties for Jamaica. That's at least that's my heart speaking a little bit too.
Chris,
I,
what you got?
I don't know if you're projecting that because of what happened with the U.S. Canada game. I'm hoping it gets wrapped up in 90 minutes or extra time before we get to penalties. I'm going to give Jamaica a 2-1 advantage for the win.
Yeah, I got Jamaica at 2-1 as well. But I think it's going to be a very hard game. Look, for Chris, all the Reggae Boys fans out there, good luck. All the Mexican fans out there, good luck to you guys as well. You've seen this rodeo before. Anyway, everyone tune into that game tomorrow. And, continue to keep watching the beautiful game. As always, Gold Cup excitement. So thanks for joining, Chris. Catch you guys.
I'm hoping Jamaica
Absolutely.
sing a redemption song after this one. That's what I'm hoping.